Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, people? Hey, hey, people. It's me, Blisy. I'm here to hail a Kyogre for several hours. 45. We'll get another one, blah, blah, blah. 28865. Turn off the GBA. What's up, Valentino? What's up, Master Walt? What's up, Ashen? What is up, Cow? How are you? Alright, well, we're just gonna get right into it. We're just gonna get right into it. Just gonna just start ripping it. Here we are. We're already playing the waiting game. What's up, Serp Hicks? How are you? Purple-eyed Peppy. Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna do my obligatory. Let me just post this and then I can close Discord. Not one. No. Alright. Kroger Sim, my favorite, yeah. Kyogre Simulator. It's truly all we have here at this point is the Kyogre Simulator. Let me actually put this over here so I can't see. Can I? Oh. See this. How do I... There we go. Such a noob at this stuff. Try platinum. Q charm was off by 5 seconds every time. No worries. Valentino, you just got to keep practicing. That's really all it is practice. What's up, TK? How are you? Trainer ID stuff in that game is going to be rough skis. Yeah. I mean, at this point, there's really nothing else for me to go about. What's up, Reaper's Medley? How are you? Oh, I should probably make myself coffee. I haven't done that. I was working all morning. It's hard to know how to make this more interesting. I think maybe I'll do an Absol theft. I was gonna do... What if we did... Hey, what's up, Shadow Renegade? How are you doing? What's up, Lemonici? How are you doing? What if we did... Well, I don't know. I was gonna do something like every member or something. You get to put a Pokemon sprite on the layout. Like, just sort of nick that from Absol. No, I've just never succeeded at it. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. I could be doing a 2-gamer setup, although I don't really know how, like... I don't know that my capture card will handle my DS being plugged in very well. Because they're both plugged into a USB hub skis. Although maybe I move it out of the USB hub skis and put it into the other thing. Thank you, Mercil Wursel. I appreciate it. Yeah, so right now, waiting on the Kyogre painting. We do have the optimal setup, though. We've got Muck in the lead. We've got Muck holding a cleanse tag. Muck has the ability Stench, which reduces the wild encounters. The cleanse tag also reduces the wild encounters. Every time I go into a new area, I play the Black Flute, which reduces the encounters in that area. On top of all of that, I'm riding the Mach Bike in every area that I am capable of. That means that that also reduces the encounter rate. So it was so funny. I was so surprised to learn Mach Bike reduces the encounter rate. But I guess it just makes sense because less encounters over more tiles covered makes it easier. The question, I've been trying to get a shiny Totodile after completing my Pokedex. I've been using all the programs that are suggested for Emerald. I have all legendary shinies on this game. Okay, sounds like you're off to a pretty good start. Sounds like you're off to a start of understanding. You understand what's happening. What is the problem with shiny Totodile? I don't understand. You know, and I also need to get the sheet or whatever it's called. Well, like, what Totodile is it? I don't understand. This is not the right spreadsheet. Oh my lord. From Professor Birch? I don't think there's anything different about it. Although I don't know that I've ever done it. When you're in the menu. Well, you mean when you're gonna press yes or no or whatever, they continue to move? Interesting. Alright. Oh, I'm all fully set up at this point. Interesting. That makes sense to me. Now my Sun copy made sure it's empty. Guess I'll reset. RNG your TSV. Nice, yeah. Well, RNGing your TSV in Sun, you really only have to do either for cosmetics or to know what your TSV is. Luckily, you don't need a specific TSV. You could pretty much get every single TSV in that game without any issues. So there's that. $600 frames is a lot of frames. Do you know how long that is? That's a lot of time. That's like 10 seconds. Timer's coming up. All right. Bum, bum, bum. Right. And we hatch the egg. I would be surprised if you were actually 600 frames off. If you're an Emerald, why are you not using a battle record, John? You don't need to wait 5 minutes every time. You could just save a battle record, get closer. It's really sad evolving a Pokemon doesn't work for this. I wonder why evolving a Pokemon doesn't work, but hatching an egg does. Like, what are the differences between the egg hatch and the evolution screen? Like, you would think it would just be the same thing. Like, the egg isn't really hatching, it's just evolving. Although, I guess there are some differences because an egg hatch is sort of inherently different to an evolution, right? Hatching an egg clears EVs, it clears ribbons, I think? I think it clears Met location, but not game origin. But I still wonder what it is. Do you do your Gen 3 RNG on a DS or an actual GBA? I usually do it on a DS. This is on the Pokemon box. Better Call Shall. I mean, we could try poking around to the thing ourselves. I just don't feel like it. It's not like worth well, the only reason to know would be for curiosity's sake. What's up, Arrow? Because there's no... Like, it doesn't really matter, like, why it doesn't work, because I'm not going to be able to use it, right? Mine is on a GBASP. GBASP versus DS hardly has any difference. There is technically some differences, it's just not really, like... Doesn't really matter, I would say. Back to the insane hunt, yes, sir. We wait. I felt pretty good about my seed press, although I was getting... My phone was ringing during it, so... Who knows how accurate I was. I get distracted very easily. So, as you can tell by me constantly looking around. Regarding this legendary encounter, specifically how many seconds earlier you have to click the text box for the legendary approaching for you. I don't know. You don't need to account for that because... You just don't need to account for that because, how do I say... Because you just miss it once, and then you'll know how late or early you were, and then you could just adjust for that. So there's not really a reason to know the delay for that type of thing, I think. All right. 85 seconds left. Here we go. First rip of the day. It'd be sort of Pageras for just an insta shiny. Although I've got the shiny before, so I know it doesn't mean no guaranteed Kyogre, blah blah blah. I know that. I know all that. Yeah, I should probably figure out like a multi-hunt to be doing during this. I guess it takes so long. Although maybe tomorrow or Saturday I'll have a new fun stream, so we'll see. What's up, Enrico? How are you today? What's up, Mux? Here we go. I think I was early on my press there. Your TID, blah, blah, blah. My other shinies are within about 10 frames when using it. 10 frames? You mean 10 seconds? Awesome, Pickled Onion. We just told you it was the NPC, John. I have to be honest, John, I'm not going to be here to, like, debug your issues with your RNG. I cannot just I cannot help you while I'm live streaming. It does not work that way. Alright, so let's check out what's going on here. Kyogre, that is RD, I believe. 154, 98, 87, 142, 139, 89. Didn't hit a method 1 Kyogre. Hit a... Oh my god, are you serious? I was literally... Oh, man. I was 1 frame late. That's like 1 frame late on seed. Oh, that's depressing. If I had hit it, I probably would have gotten the one. Yeah, it was method 4. That was method 4. Alright, well, it's time to go again, I guess. I'll try that again like that. There we go. That felt good. That felt good. Yeah, unlucky indeed. And by unlucky, I mean unskilled. I'm just a skillless degenerate who cannot hit the frames that they would like. Whew, here we go. Back at it again with the long wait skis. I don't know. Coffee time. I'm gonna make coffee before I forget. You guys want to do my Italian lesson with me? It's Italian time on Duolingo. You guys can't see shit, apparently. Here we go. Here we go. How's this gonna sound?
Caramella.
That means candy.
Ragazzi.
That means boys.
Mela.
That means apple.
Voi.
That means you. Good job. Buongiorno.
Io mangio.
Here, I'll play it again for you all.
Io mangio una carota.
It's asking me to say it in Italian. Io mangio una carota. Means I ate a carrot. Good job, me.
Zucchero.
That's sugar.
Biscotto.
That's cookie.
Frutta.
That's fruit.
Ragazzi.
That's boys again. Although more sort of a gender neutral boys, I would say. Wait, what's this?
Io mangio la banana. Banana. Banana.
Okay. It's asking me to pick out the candy. So that would be la caramella.
Caramella.
La caramella. Yes.
Lui mangia un fagiolo. Mangia.
Wanted me to pick the right one, manja. He eats a bean.
Mangio il cibo. Mangio il cibo.
So, oh, I just have to mangio il.
Cibo.
I don't know chibo. I don't know this word. I eat the food. It's just like a different word for food. It wants me to do I eat fruit. So, io mangio frutta.
Frutta.
È un piatto.
È un piatto. What's that? It is piatto plate? Oh, it is a plate. Oh, excuse me. The bean. Il
Fagiolo.
I already knew fagiolo. My grandfather says fagiolo.
Io mangio un fagiolo. Io mangio un fagiolo.
I eat a bean. She eats a banana.
Lei.
Oh no, that's kind of creepy, Duolingo. Con bevi il caffè. I don't know what com means, but bevi il caffè is like, what, drink the coffee, right? I know that one. What does com mean? Why the interest in Italian? I'm going to Italy in September, so I've been just taking Duolingo so I can literally communicate and read to the people I'll be around. Oh, like, come. Oh, I see. Haven't tried Korean, though Duolingo entirely fails for Asian languages. What are you talking about? Duolingo was totally fine for Japanese. Okay. She eats a banana. Lei mangia una banana.
Banana.
Io
mangio una carota. She eats food.
Lei cibo.
I have to type she eats food. Lei mangia cibo. It is a plate. Yay, I only got one question wrong. That's 60 days, baby. You guys can't see it, but maybe if I dim the brightness. 60-day streak, baby. I do at least one a day, so I'm not very far, but it's better than nothing, I think. We're going to I will say their Italian names. Going to Venezia, And then after that, I think we're going to Frenzy, then we're going to Roma, and then we're going to... Oh, I can't remember the last place that we're going. I can't remember the last place because I hadn't heard of it. It's something like... My mom explained it to me. Oh, we're going to Sorrento. That's the last place. Okay. Are we in Napoli? I think Sorrento is outside of Napoli, right? Well, I didn't do Duolingo as... Alright, to be fair, I'll say this much. With my Japanese Duolingo experience, I was not using Duolingo as like my primary way to learn Japanese. I had already had tons of prior experience. Like, I took Japanese for 6 years. I took Japanese for 6 years from the time I was like 12 until I was 18. And so I just hadn't taken any like usable lesson in Japanese since the end of high school. And so a few years ago I was like, oh, I'll just Duolingo it because my friend said it was good for German. And so I found it to be helpful for that, but it could be because I already understood the Japanese grammatical structure and I knew a lot of words that it was like already whatever. But I thought it was pretty accurate for Japanese from what I know of Japanese. To go to Sardinia one time. I want to see if I can squeeze Sardinia into this trip. I want to go very badly, but we're only going to be in each city for like 3 days, I think. So I would have to get a plane to Sardinia from Rome. So I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze it in. I want to go very badly. It's like that's where like my dad's half of the family is from, is Sardinian. Like my grandpa grew up speaking Sardinian and Italian. And my great grandfather and great grandmother are both from Sardinia and Italy. So I mean, if I can't go, I'll go another time ever. But yeah. Hey, what's up, Laura? How are you? Yeah, I don't know. I thought Japanese was totally fine for Duolingo. I don't know. I will say, I don't think that, like... I think that if you're learning a language, probably, like, anything isn't gonna be the best solution for like... Okay, like... I can't speak to inaccuracies in other languages, but, like, the words in Japanese and Italian are, like, correct for the most part from my experience in them. Like, I haven't encountered errors, and I knew a lot of Japanese before taking it. So, what I would say is that, like, what is the most helpful about that app is that it bothers you to do it every day. For me anyway, Duolingo bothers me. It'll send me notifications every single day that I have to do it. And I like keeping the streak number up. There's like visible candy rewards basically. Like my streak continues and my and I'm literally doing it some amount every day. I also found that languages are hard if you aren't how do I say? If you're not using them, languages are going to be hard. So like my dad, when my parents visited Spain and they loved it in Spain. And when they left, he started taking Spanish because he wants to like buy property there and live there, but he fell out of it quickly. And like part of it is because he doesn't part of it is that he doesn't have anyone to practice Spanish with, right? Like, and he doesn't have a super tangible goal. So like with Italian for me, like with Italian for me, yeah, like my wife and I aren't even at the point where we can say super useful Italian to each other. Like sometimes like we'll say like a word in Italian to each other, but that's it, because she's practicing it too. But like we both have the goal of being able to use some of what we've learned in Italy, so it's keeping us on it every day. So I would imagine the moment we're done with Italy, the moment we're in Italy, we're probably going to stop Duolingoing, and the moment we're done with Italy, I can't imagine I'll be continuing Italian, because it's just like it's hard to keep a language in your head if you're not using it. And like I experienced that with Japanese, where from the time from high school onwards, I didn't use Japanese a lot, so it sort of faded heavily for me. But the more I play these Japanese games and interacted with Japanese people because of my YouTube channel, my Japanese improved because I was, talking to people from there and seeing that language on a daily basis, Salve ragazzo. So I think it's just important to, like, I think that's the best part about Duolingo is that it makes you do it every day. Well, from what I've heard, Paolo, the bar is very low in most European countries for Americans. Well, I was talking about this with my wife the other day. I do think Americans get too much shit for not having learned another language, because like in Europe, your neighboring countries all speak different languages, like, and it's pretty easy for you to go from one country to another. So you're going to be able to go to other places that speak languages that aren't your native tongue very easily. But in America, that's not true. Like, what? Like, I'll explain more in a minute. So, like in America, there are places like Chinatown in New York City has Chinese on it, and like my fucking Chinese place has Chinese on their menu, but it's not like a ton. Like, I'm not gonna be talking to these people in Chinese. Like, I'm not living there. It's not part of who I am as a human being. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not gonna be able to immerse myself in it, basically. Right? The closest I could get is French Canada, which also most people there will speak English. I'm gonna learn French just to go to Toronto. Not Toronto, fucking Montreal. There's a different Kyogre. I got scared it was the same one because it has the same HP stat, but that's it's naughty. So yeah, I believe the bar is pretty low. Although I will say the reason I'm doing it is because, I mean, I think learning, even if I'm not gonna keep it forever, I think learning it's a little bit interesting. But this is method 1. 1 seed early. All right. So, like, even if I'm not going to keep it forever, I think it's interesting. Start redoing all my guides in Italian. Holy moly. And, like, I do think that if you're gonna go to another country, like, if you're gonna go, like, if you're American and you're gonna go to any other country, I think it's, even if the country is notorious for knowing English and everyone speaks English there, I feel like it's silly to not learn some of the language like I'm doing, right? Like, to me, it seems just silly to not do it. Like, because, like, it's, like, not even just from, like, a, you could view it as, like, a respect aspect. Oh, you should respect the country and the people. But, like, it's just, to me, it's stupid. It's, like, almost like a safety hazard. Like, I would like to know in Italy to be, like, like, how to go to this place. Do you know what I mean? Like, like, where am I? So, you know, it would be nice to be able to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Part of your family from your mom's side is from Spain, and your some on your dad's is Mexican. Interesting. What else you may need? Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Thanks for the sub.
Gotta follow somewhere. I think that was Twitch, but I don't know where that was. What's going on with Tears of the Kingdom? Why is it trending on Twitter? Is there another trailer? Oh. I just got turbo spoilers that Ganon's in the game. I do think it's like, yeah, I don't know. From your experience, people in Italy don't speak a ton of English. Oh, I didn't think Italy was a country that had one of... Like, I was talking about something like Sweden or some shit. Like, I know, like, Sweden, a lot of people speak English. I don't really care. Yeah, I don't really know what dictates what's going on in European countries. Like, why do some have, like, because you would think that, like, some Swedish people have better, well, this is what was confusing to me about Sweden. Like, why? Why is it like that in Sweden? Because in Sweden, like, because I was thinking about this, I was like, well, you know what, Italy isn't really bordering any countries that have English as a primary language, so why would Italians, you know, learn English? But then I was thinking about it, Sweden is also not fucking near any English-speaking countries. Why they do it? Defunding education. Well, from what I understand, Italy has been having a very hard right-leaning situation again, which often coincides with defunding education. Similar to what goes on in America. No team creation for this video. I think learning another language is worth it if it's widespread like English, Spanish, Chinese is set. Well, it's more like theoretically it could be worth it to learn Chinese because like so many people can speak the language, but if you have no interest in going to China, working in China, or working in an industry that's going to be with Chinese countries, like, why would you do, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I would guarantee you that more people on the west coast of America speak Chinese than the east coast, and I'm east coast. Because in the west coast, they're closer to Asia, right? 2435452. That's a decent one, cow. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Pop culture helps. Scandinavian countries barely have dubbed movies, so they're constantly exposed to the English language. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I kind of knew that, I guess, actually. Right? Because the Pokemon games are all English there. But the Pokemon games in... Like, how many languages does Pokemon have? It's less than you would think, right? English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, 2 versions of it, and Korean. Yeah. Yeah, Italian, I think, has had... I think Italian has had it since Gen 1, although the Pokemon names weren't different. If this is my understanding. From what I understand, I think Italian and one other language were like this. Where the game... I forget. It was like Italian and like Spanish, maybe. Where red and blue were translated in Italian. But the names were all the English names, like Persian and stuff, I think. And then starting in, like, Gen 2 or 3, they got custom names. I can't remember, though. It's been a long time since I read that. No, there's no... You don't need to be on a Japanese version of Sapphire. I only own a Japanese copy. I don't own an English copy. Oh, I fucked up. Oh, I fucked up again. No, oh, so all the Pokemon had different names? No, I probably won't do Kyogre. Or Groudon, I mean. Sorry. Excuse me. I just like Kyogre. I don't really like Groudon that much. maybe it wasn't I was pretty sure some Pokemon games, for Red and Blue, the Pokemon didn't get custom names. I know French did for sure. Because I remember watching Supreme RK9's videos with his ex-boyfriend, who was some French YouTuber, and they were going over the different names. Isn't Kyogre's or Groudon Shiny's kind of like an ugly yellow, isn't it? I'm pretty sure Spanish didn't. The Spanish translations are notoriously poor for the first few gens. I know that. Good morning, Harsh. How you doing? Well, I like Kyogre Shiny quite a lot. But I don't even really care about what the shinies look like. I just care about if I like the Pokemon. Alright, so let's see here. Looking up Red and Blue translations. What? What language was it localized in? Come on. This is driving me crazy. Where was it released, man? Okay. Okay. I'm not seeing it. I can't find it. Well, from what... Yes. So, commenter, what I understand is... From what I understand is that the English translations were made first for Red and Blue, and then they built the European languages off of that. I'm looking up the Italian Pokemon names. Wait, what? No, Italian... Oh my god, really? Okay. So it looks like Italian Pokemon didn't get names until Gen 7. What the hell? They went... How? I can't believe they kept it the same for so long. So all the Italian Pokemon names are in English until Gen 7. Okay. So French, I think. French I know has different. So Gen 1 Spanish Pokemon names. Here we go. Nope, Spain was exactly the same. So Italy and Spain didn't get custom names for their Pokemon until Gen 7. Okay. Was there German? Okay, German got them. I know French got them. I feel like I'm missing a language. Italian, French, Spanish, German, and English, Japanese. Maybe there was only 6 languages. I knew that one was bad. Well, from what I understand, it was part of it was I know part of the original reason for it was like they just did it with one guy basically. Like it was basically like what languages some translator happened to know. This is animate. I feel like this was a bad one. 150. 91, 127, 137, 88. It was 1 seed late. It was mad late on advances. That much is expected, unfortunately. All right. We'll do a reset for that one. There we go. Oh boy. That's all right. I knew what I signed up for with this weight. I knew what I signed up for with this weight. I will say, I don't understand why... The Breath of the Wild sequel. Why are they still making Link a boy? What's that about? Why can't you pick Link's gender? I remember when the first Breath of the Wild trailer came out, I thought that, because Link looked so feminine to me in it, I thought that Link was a girl, but he was not. Like, I feel like Link's gender has nothing to do with the story, so why can't you just pick a boy and a girl? I mean, Zelda's important, undeniably, but... I just think it would be fine to just have a gender you could just pick for Link. Link doesn't transcend gender, though. I would not even call him a fed boy. I guess he does dress up like a Gerudo, but still. Crossers and Breath of the Wild, that's true. I just think it's so silly to me. I feel like you're alienating like tons of women who would otherwise prefer to be playing as a woman. Like, there's a different too as well, because I'll say this much. Like, because sometimes having a gendered character does matter. Like, on some level it matters. Like, in Metroid, Samus is a woman, and while that isn't really a part of her character very much, she is an actual character at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, Link is a blank slate character where they don't, like, yeah, he's a blank slate character that they don't let you pick the gender for him. Whereas in Metroid, Samus is not a blank slate character. She's an actual character. That's what I'm saying, Dishwasher and Laura, yeah. Well, the thing is, I think it's harder to do that. I do think it's harder to do that, gender neutral thing when you're going, like, full... whatever. I just feel like you could just play as Link or, like... You can keep the princess thing. If you want to keep Zelda a girl, that's fine. Keep her a girl. Just like Link be either. I feel like it makes no sense to me. Samus's gender is treated as unknown in, I think, the first 2 games. I think they hide Samus's gender in both Metroid 1 and 2. Nintendo's afraid of lesbian Link, true. Yeah, well, I would also argue as even... First of all, yes, Mario is definitely a more defined character than Link, because Link changes. It is clearly not the same fucking guy every game. Whereas Mario, Mario is a guy, and it's always him. But also... for the Zelda games, I don't think Link has to be... Well, I haven't played all of the Zelda games, but I don't think Link has to be male in any of the ones that I've played. I would argue Link is not even a central character to the Zelda stories in, like, theory. You know what I mean? All the games are called The Legend of Zelda. All the games are called The Legend of Zelda. Link doesn't necessarily have to be implied. In fact, they only implied Link was in all of them, starting with Skyward Sword, right? Gotta consider Japanese societal standards. They're not near as progressive as the West. God, they're pretty national. Well, Japan is ahead. Well, I will say Japan is weird because Japan is very big on, like, cross-dressing in, like, a not negative way. So it is very interesting. There's also tons of Japanese games and Nintendo games where the gender of the character does not matter. The Animal Crossing games are completely androgynous these days, right? Like, you don't even pick your character's gender. You just pick an outfit, and they don't refer to you with the gender. Hey, this isn't the Indiana Jones argument. I also agree, gender doesn't matter in Pokemon at all. Yeah. To me, Link is about the same as a Pokemon main character. You do pick your character's gender. They just don't explicitly say it. No, I know that May has... I know that Brendan has less dialogue than May. I mean that the character... I think that might be the only instance, because Brendan does have a character arc. No, they do make you choose a gender, because when you pick a character design... when you pick a character design, they assign you pronouns. So, like, you still get referred to as he or she. Even though you're not picking boy or girl. You just pick a look, and then the game goes, she, he. Yes. Yes, because there was a bunch of... Because fucking Pokemon, Central Pokemon, or whoever that dipshit is, tweeted out, you don't pick gender in the Pokemon games anymore. He's like, you don't pick a gender in the Pokemon games anymore. And I was like, really? That's cool. They went the Animal Crossing route. Makes sense to me. And then, I played the game. I picked a girl, and it was like, look, this is her. You're a new classmate. And I'm like, oh, I see. So it was a fucking lie. Like, yeah. And also, what's going on with the Pokemon main character? Well, they used to gender them a lot more. They're still pretty heavily gendered on the models alone. Like, Animal Crossing uses the same character model for anything. I think they could get away with that in Pokemon. I only noticed because I saw the guy say that it was gender neutral, and then I like checked by just reading. It's not incorrect. You pick the sex of the character, but the gender is defined by the... What the fuck are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about, Medium? I agree that they're definitely caring less and less about it, because I don't even think... Yes, because like if you look at the male character and the female character in X and Y compared to the ones we have now, they're very... The ones in X and Y were heavily gendered compared to what we have now. I also don't think the clothes are different in Scarlet and Violet for boy and girl anymore, right? I mean, there's only 4 fucking outfits, so who gives a shit? But yeah, I think there's no difference in terms of outfits as well. So it definitely is caring less and less. That's why I wouldn't be super surprised if they eventually drop it. Medium D, what you're saying makes no sense. What you said literally makes no sense. The most obnoxious thing is Brendan is Gen 3 being like, oh, you're a girl, I thought you'd be a boy. Well, actually, well, Brendan is pretty bad about it. So basically, Brendan is... I will say this much. Brendan is, in fact, the only character who... He's the only time where gender matters for the protagonist literally at all. It's not just... A lot of people are like, oh, the speedrunners pick Brendan because he has less dialogue. It's true. Brendan does have less dialogue than May. But if you play Ruby and Sapphire, and you also play Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it's actually much more prominent in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. But Brendan has a small character arc where he learns to not be discriminatory against women. Where he says that line that Riley says, where Brendan goes, "Oh, you're a girl? I thought you'd be a boy," because he wanted a boy as a friend. But over the course of the game, he learns that it didn't matter that you were a girl. You were cool and shared interests with him anyway, and you could be a strong trainer if you were a boy or a girl. If you actually read his dialogue, that is Brendan's character arc. And it's significantly more pronounced in Omega Ruby, but it is there in regular Ruby and Sapphire. It's still definitely there. So that is probably the only time I can think of in the entire series where your player gender does matter. Because your player gender determines if your rival gets a character arc. That is the fun fact. Well, I can only aim for Modest, so I'll be going for Modest. Also, I think for a long time, Modest Kyogre was better than the other Kyogre. But yeah, to me, Link is basically the equivalent of a... the difference between a Pokemon... Like, Link is effectively a Pokemon main character anyway, from my perspective. Like, he's basically as fucking relevant as them. Like, his gender could be anything. There's between speedrunning Heart Gold Soul Silver as a boy versus a girl. I don't know about Heart Gold Soul Silver. I don't read any of Lyra's dialogue. I do not like her as a character. Poor addition. When I say Lyra, I mean Lyra or Brendan, because I'm pretty sure the way they act is the same. But I don't know anything about speedrunning in that game. Lyra does bouncing? What are you talking about? Like her Meryl? Oh, really? That's funny. Why would that be a difference? I feel like they must have just forgot to program it. Why would that be a difference that they have? I'm only going for Modest. I cannot go for Timid. I just don't like Lyra's character design very much. That's all. I much preferred Chris's character design, yeah. And it was very progressive of Game Freak to make the first religioned character in the whole series. Chris wears a yarmulke, so... She is most likely Jewish. What time I choose... Do I choose girl as a Fireleaf Green or Diamond Pearl? Yeah, I don't think I've ever picked Lucas. Nope. Damn. I definitely don't like Lucas's stupid hat. Although Dawn's character design is stupid. Dawn's character design is stupid, but Lucas looks so much like a dweeb, I don't want to play him. I think this is lonely, actually. Yeah, lonely. 156, I believe its HP was. Nope. 116, 81, 141, 135, 88. Calculate. We were on seed 4 frames early, but method 1. Okay. We'll keep trying. Do you and Jeff ever get tired of doing this hacker shit? I don't think so. I don't really. I was in Meatball at 9. Where the hell were... at like usual, where the hell were you? I was left all alone this morning to work on my script by myself. Xbox does see Coomburst is my friend, so he just says it that way. Anniversary today. Oh, I see. I hope you had a good anniversary today. Kyogre's name is 84 years. It's taken me quite a while. Caramella. It's 2 frame perfect inputs at 60 FPS, and then on top of that, I need to get a little bit lucky with encounter checks, basically. Got a third shiny Sableye, by the way. They love you, apparently. Holy shamoly. Are you just shiny hunting, Andrew? Just looking for fun shinies? Because you completed your decks already, right? Oh, what did I unplug? I just unplugged something. Hold on. Oh no. What's happening? Oh no, something's happening. I think I'm gonna lose my mouse any moment now. Still have control of the mouse. I've lost my keyboard. Can you guys still see me? Yeah, you can. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Why have I lost the keyboard? Hold on, I'll be back. Oh. Ah! I knocked over my controller. That was really weird. I think one of my USB ports just died. I don't know what happened. I have no idea why but I think the USB 3.0 port fucking just died. You discovered the final secret IDS idea. What does that fucking mean? The final one. What that? In 2023, I should be using Pokefinder, RNG Reporter, Pokefinder. I think has it built in. Can you SR for a shiny starter and emerald battery working? Battery doesn't matter for emerald. Emerald is just glitched. I was in a shiny hunting stream for a person who I liked yesterday, and the amount of speculation shiny hunters have done on how emerald works when all the information is just out there is truly staggering. So I think I was late. I understand the words you're saying, Darian, but what I'm saying to you is they don't mean anything to me. What is the final secret ID TID? It doesn't that doesn't mean anything. What's up, AD? How you doing? Yeah, but you could still hunt shinies in Emerald by doing runaways. It really bugs you. Yeah, you'd think they would do the minimum amount of fucking research into their fucking hobby. But they all just feel the need to come into my Discord and go, how does this work? And I'm just like, this isn't a shiny hunting Discord? Fucking leave. I'm pissed off at you people. You treat me like shit and like I'm cheating, and then you want a bunch of advice. But also, like, who I was watching was just like, oh, it makes my head spin. Blah, blah. It's like, to me, it's really not that hard to understand, but... Like, I don't think you have to spend a lot of time understanding it. What do you mean you couldn't use the battle record to shorten the time? No, battle videos don't shorten the time for painting seeds. The painting doesn't determine your current seed based... it would be very cool if the painting seed was, like, multiplicative and it based its initial seed, like, it called reseeding based off of the fucking current PRNG state, but it doesn't do that. It calls it based on the amount of video frames that have been rendered. You mean you have to be Sheldon Cooper to RNG manipulate? That's right. Very smart and autistic. No, I don't think Jeff's autistic. He's too normal. I told you already, he could have a conversation with my in-laws. So that means he's probably not autistic. He was just chatting it up with my father-in-law, having a normal-ass time. And I was like, I'm quiet for the first several interactions like that. I will say this all the time. You don't... Okay, Darian, I'm banning you because you're saying something that makes no sense to me. Goodbye. See you in hell. Well, I will say this. I know you're just shitposting, Andy, but I will say anyone who is interested in trying RNG, because the Michigan Sheen, that's funny. I will say, I know Andy's just shitposting, but basically, if you have any interest in doing an RNG manip and you think, oh, this shit looks too complicated, it looks really hard, it looks too hard for me, blah, blah, blah. Listen, RNG manipping isn't fucking hard. Like, it's not hard. Anyone can do. I am not a smart person. Anyone can do it. Like, I am just I'm very regular. I went to school for baking, okay? So I went to culinary school, okay? And before that, I was doing history school before I switched majors. So it's not like I have some insane computer science technical background, right? I just really liked Pokemon, and this is what fucking happened to me. I went down an insane... You're going to Banworld? No, you're fine. I know you. If I have a rapport with people, I can understand how I get their shit posting. I'm just using your shit posting as a way to encourage people to try my hobby if they have an interest in it. Because a lot of people get intimidated by it. Because there's lots of programs and boxes and numbers, and it looks very complicated, but really it's not very complicated at all, I would say. The hardest part of RNG manipulation is probably the, like, skill execution. Like, having to do a double frame perfect trick here, that's really difficult. So, yeah. Who was, Riley? The person I banned? difficult is it to... I mean, I try to always show demonstrations of how difficult it is to pull off an RNG manip, but like 1/60th of a second precision, you have 16... You should have... oh man, I just... Fuck, I read Andy's thing and I forgot. I was talking about how difficult it's to land... Oh yeah, 16.7 something milliseconds is what you have to press A correctly. And I have to do that 2 times consecutively. So it's really hard. Kyogre's just waiting. Two months, Dr. Butterscotch. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The Darien Link guy? Oh, okay, cool. I just think he was just making... That's my #1 pet peeve, is people saying stuff. People just making shit up to me. Oh, it tilts me. Trenton Ross, welcome to Happini. I appreciate it. It's one small step to making sure taxes stop ruining my life. In fact, I'm probably still at 114, unfortunately. But I appreciate everybody. Pog, Trenton Ross. Thank you very much. Because Laura's membership was not... expired today, I think. It's unfortunate. I take so long to make videos that Laura doesn't get to fucking see them before they come out. I'm sorry, Laura. You get gifted membership so that you can't use it. I try to make videos as fast as I can, but it's so hard. Especially my current video was just too much work for anything. This is not a lonely one, that's why, right? It's lax, I think. I was 1 advance early, but I was 3 seeds late. Alright, what we're gonna do is... I'm gonna leave it. I'm just fucking up the seeds. Jolly or Timid Mew? Well, I like Hyper Offensive Mew. Is fun. Yeah, I do read plenty of Japanese. Not nearly enough to say that I speak it, but I read a decent amount. I will say, I don't like people saying that Ruby and Sapphire are retro, despite the fact that they are. But it does just make me, like, depressed. It's just like, no. No, because you... I don't know. I have very fond memories of these games, so... Like, it's just crazy being told, like, the thing that you grew up with is retro as opposed to something else. The most difficult thing of RNG is anger control? No, RNG never upsets me, I would say. I never get upset or angry at RNG. Sometimes I get very, very demoralized. I just sit there and I'm like, oh, Why? Like, come on. I'm so tired. Yeah, depending on how my script comes along, I might reveal the project this week. Because my script is coming along pretty good, but I don't know, it's hard. I know, this isn't the most interesting stream. I'm just typing my script. I'm trying to just get 2 birds out with 1 stone here. Okay. Why aren't you using Eon Timer? Eon Timer 3.0 does not have a multi-stage timer like Flowtimer does. I need to have 3 different timers go off. Eon Timer cannot do that. The AI of this is not true, Phoenix, by the way. The AI of the Frontier Moot does not know this. That is just made up. What's up, Sabak? How you doing? Alright. Locked and loaded. Paint time. What's up, Chano? How you doing? Boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I watch Bliss stream on company time. That's right. We should all just be pirates again. Pirates were like kind of a, what is the term for... What's it called where you, like, own a part of the company you're in? It's like a socialist thing. I can't remember what it's called. You guys know what I'm talking about? A co-op, yes. Pirates were like a co-op. Each of them had a joint reward in the success of the venture. The only people who got paid more per venture on the pirate cruise were typically the captain, the quartermaster, and the surgeon. But, like, otherwise, everyone got one equal share. And the only reason the captain, the quartermaster, and the surgeon got extra... First of all, the captain got not even an extra full... I think the captain got an extra full share. Quartermaster typically was, like, a share and a half. And then the surgeon was usually a share and a quarter. And they only had those extra shares because they did extra work. But not by a lot. So we should all just be pirates, fucking force our businesses to be co-ops, and then, etc., etc. Do I watch anime? Sometimes. It's been a while since I've watched any new anime. Used to be quite into anime. The last new anime I watched was the anime adaptation of Stone Ocean. But it wasn't new to me because I had read the Stone Ocean manga, so... All right. Want to try a new one? You should try Vinland Saga. It's the Viking thing, right? I don't know how interested I am in it. My favorite anime is probably Gurren Lagann. Haven't watched it in a while, but I truly love that show. Ping Pong the animation is also so good. If you aren't a typical anime fan, but you have been competitive at any point in your life, something like you played a sport, or you were very into a competitive game like Pokemon or something like that, I think you should watch Ping Pong the animation. Ping Pong is a story of a few high schoolers who are, and it's basically a coming of age story that shows the struggles with motivation and competition. Like, what do you get out of competition? Why are you motivated to compete? How do you deal with these issues? It's only like 13 episodes. It has basically no traditional anime tropes. It is fucking goated. It is so good. So I highly suggest Ping Pong the animation. Gurren Lagann I probably like for a lot more personal reasons than most. I quite like Gurren Lagann because I just find heavy relatability to Simone. Makes me believe that one day I too can overcome my confidence issues. All right. It's calm. $146, $96, $143, $154. Invalid. What? Is there 2 spaces there? Yes, there is. 2 seeds late, 5 frames late. Okay, so we're gonna put myself down for the seeds being late thing. We'll say I was like, in reality, I was like 3 frames late. I don't know. Didn't expect to have to do any adjustments after the first run was just 1 frame off, but here we are. But yeah, I quite like those 2 animes in particular. And then I pretty much like a lot of anime. What's up, Coops? How you doing? I really like pretty much all of JoJo's. JoJo's is pretty much fully goated. One of the best shits I've ever fucking watched and read. It's really hard to not like JoJo's. I think it's quite good. Gonna get through Space Dandy. Oh, I liked Space Dandy. Yes, Riley. This is something that well, I haven't watched Space Dandy in a really long time. I haven't watched Space Dandy in a really long time, so I don't remember how pervy that show is, but I have also developed in the exact same way where I do not like the pervy aspect of a show either. Like Gurren Lagann doesn't really have a lot of it, but there's a few moments of it, and I basically just either cringe when it happens. Like there's no super pervert hentai character like Master Roshi or some shit in Gurren Lagann, but there's like a few moments where the characters like freak out about like a girl being hot or something like that, and it's like I don't like that. So I either just cringe during those parts or I just ignore them because the rest of the story can be quite good. But luckily JoJo's is actually pretty light on that stuff. I don't, it doesn't really happen very often in JoJo's. In fact, I only can even think of one instance off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more, but well, I can think of two instances. Because part 3 has a pretty egregious weird one. I would highly, well, so the weird gorilla. Yeah, okay. So, yes, part 3 is not a gorilla. It is an orangutan. Not that the fucking matters. It is extremely creepy. There are positives to this. One, the orangutan is the bad guy. The main characters are not fawning over the girl. The orangutan is, which is, listen, for a 1980s anime, I definitely think that's a positive. It is, and it does make me wildly uncomfortable. I don't like it. But technically, and like, cause I think it's still, like, within the context of the story, it's better than a lot of anime, because a lot of anime will have protagonists doing things like what that orangutan does. But the negative here is that, like, the fucking comic still did it. Like in a meta textual sense, like, you have to read this kind of weird, like it, you still feel perverted looking at it, you know what I mean? Part 3 has a lot of weird stuff. All of JoJo's has a lot of weird stuff. Part 3 has a lot of weird stuff, but I think the only two instances I can think of, of JoJo being, like, perverted is the orangutan and when Joseph peeps on Lisa. It depends on what season of JoJo you're watching, Riley. I would also highly suggest reading it. No, I'm a fucking full Kill la Kill hater. I hate that shit. Dog shit anime. Like, JoJo's Part 3 drags horribly as an anime itself. But I don't think Part 1 or Part 2 drag at all. I think Part 1 and Part 2, that shit is good. I smoked that shit. But then, and as a manga, Part 2 is excellent. I think. Part 2 was quite a good watch. I'll say this much. I watched Part 2, excellent. Part 2 as a read was even better than it was as an anime, which surprised me. It was extremely good. Part 3, I haven't read it. It does drag as an anime. I will say Part 2 has Part 2 has really high highs and low lows. It's boring sometimes, but the highs of Part 3 made up for it for me. Part 4 was very good. Part 4 is a bit repetitive until the actual villain shows up. But once Kira's in there, I think it's pretty much high stakes the whole time, if I had to say so. Then Part 5, fucking goated. I smoked that shit. Part 5 is so fucking good. Part 5 is like... Part 5 is probably the best animated part currently. I would have to say. I do think I preferred Part 7 as a full package, but it hasn't been animated yet, so... Part 7 is insanely goated. I also like Part 8, but it's just like... I don't know. Part 8's just... I haven't finished it yet. Also, it's fucking weird as fuck. Yeah, we're talking about JoJo's. Don't watch One Piece. What are you, a maniac? One Piece has to be read. The One Piece anime is, like, not good. The classic era of One Piece before they get to the Grand Line, and maybe you could even argue up until Alabasta, is pretty good. But once they leave there, the animation quality fucking nosedives. And it nosedived until Wano. And it's really not even particularly well animated in Wano. They just did some post-production stuff to make it look slightly better. I think so. More people just need to read manga. I know people just don't like reading, but the manga is almost always better than the anime. It's just the unfortunate reality. That's correct, Reaper's Medley. They will sometimes adapt as little as 1 chapter per episode in the Wano arc. So what they do is they make panels that were just 1 panel in the manga take so long in the anime. There's an instance of the sumo wrestle in One Piece that Luffy does in Wano. That's literally 1 manga panel, maybe 2, and they make it take like 45 seconds in the anime. That is not how you fucking adapt a piece of media. Dude, only true weebs remember the fucking original Viz publications where it says, "We have published this in its original formatting to preserve the artist's intent," which is reading it backwards to front. I think animes can be okay as companion pieces to the manga. However, the manga should always be the primary source which you're talking about it, because the manga is like what has the author's intent, and like a lot of the time the author's art isn't going to translate as well through animation. Like, they're just different things. Like, when you're reading a manga, I've always been a manga fan. I always liked manga, but I also always liked anime. And the thing is, you have to realize that if an anime is an adaptation of something, you're not getting the author's intent. It has to be compromised to change it from one piece of media to another. So if you really, really like something, it's totally fine to watch the anime. I got into JoJo's because of the anime. I haven't even read all the parts. I've only read a few of the parts that I really, really liked. But basically, like, if you're trying to get really into something, reading it is literally probably is faster for you. I don't want to suggest anything because my brother is like severely dyslexic, so he has trouble reading, so there's no harm, no foul if you have trouble reading or something like that. But like oftentimes reading is faster and it's less commitment than watching a show, because you could just read, you could just flip through stuff. And I think when you read a manga, especially if you got it in person, it's insane. Like, I remember, because I quite liked the part 2 anime of JoJo's, like I said. And so I bought the manga for part 2 because I thought that shit was good. I want to own, right? I have my part 2 manga right over here. Right, the JoJo's mangas come in these insanely beautiful hardcover books where Araki's drawn new art for everything, right? So I just wanted like a collectible piece, and I was just reading it, and Araki's art is just fucking insane. Like, I can't believe I didn't think this, but I literally, like, after reading it, I literally think that the fucking anime does not do his part 2 artwork justice. That's how I actually feel. It's like insane to me, but it's true. I couldn't, like, his art is just fucking outstanding in the manga. It's insane. I couldn't believe it. It's literally better than the anime. It's crazy. The thing about reading manga with me is that if I sit down to read something, having it just be more anime. Oh, I see what you're saying. You already watch anime, so you don't want to read anime and also be watching anime. I see what you're saying. That's fair. I thought about that too, because it's like, what if the only, because like I do read books. I read a decent amount of books that aren't just comics and manga, by the way, but I don't read almost any non-fiction. Like, I pretty much only read fiction, or fantasy rather. Like, I pretty much only read fantasy and sci-fi books in terms of my, like, the types of books that I like to read. And I like non-fiction things. I tend to just consume them through videos or podcasts. But I was thinking about how I definitely need to read more non-fictions. No, I get you. I get you, Andy. I definitely understand where you're coming from, because I feel that even with reading normal books. Like, my dad was talking to me about, like, these, like, biographies that he's been reading, and I was like, I've been reading Sherlock Holmes. Like, and it's like, oh, you're still a fucking child. Right, I see. Nope. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. What the hell? My cat's probably up to something. Alright. Wrong thing. Wrong thing. Okay, this is Lonely. 153, 101, 84, 140, 141, 92. Calculate. I was 2 seeds early. Eat my ass, game. What the hell, man? Yeah, we'll try again. I'm just dancing around it. How many attempts have I made today? I have no idea. I don't even count the attempts. I just see no point in counting the attempts. Let's see here. I just don't care about how many attempts I took. I think for me, what's more interesting than the attempts taken is the total hours invested, which I have via video recordings, right? So that tends to be my metric, is how many hours did I invest in this stupid ass project. Saffron, I see you. Saffron. Okay. So, moral integrity question. Would you consider buying and using an action replay to access the Celebi bonus disc content in your... What? I don't understand. Saffron, I see you. Hi, princess. I love my cat. Okay, so let me see here. Do I think using an action replay to gain access to the Celebi event is cheating? Yes. Is it still fine to do? Yes, because that doesn't, okay, so how do I explain this? I have, basically, my view is that financial gatekeeping is always bad. So it's always fine to get around something that is financially gatekept, especially when it's only through secondhand markets. So I think it's always fine to do something to get through that barrier. So pirate Coliseum, pirate the bonus disc, pirate your fucking GBA game if you want to. Totally valid, totally fine. What I do think is less valid is bypassing the hard part, which is the time invested. The time invested part, which is you have to play through the game and purify every shadow Pokemon. Does anybody want to do that? No, that makes everybody want to die. So of course you don't want to do that. But that's a tedium part. If you're playing legitimately, everyone is doing that, right? So in terms of competitive integrity, you are cheating the system by doing that. Do I blame you in this instance? No, because I would rather die than play Coliseum again. Now, so that is the hard part. Yes, using the US bonus disc. I mean, the US bonus disc, using the Celebi US partially programmed bonus disc using that is really no different than using the Japanese bonus disc. There is almost no differences between the two. The Celebi you receive will not be legitimate, but like that's fine, because in terms of metrics that matters, which is IVs, time spent to get, they will be identical, which is what matters in my context, which is the competitive scene, right? You shouldn't be cheating to get to unlock cheating to obtain the ability to get the event, or not cheating, stealing to get the event, fine. Skipping the time barriers is not fine, because that cheats you in a competition where both you and someone else agreed to not do that. In the end, yeah, it's probably fine. You're gonna have to, you still have to purify every shadow Pokemon, right? You still have to play through all of Coliseum. You still have to purify every shadow Pokemon, and you still have to spend the time resetting for Celebes. So, I think there's no problem here, personally. I want to do another Italian lesson. Who's with me? We'll do it after I get to Kyogre. No, I like talking about these things, Andy. As long as the person isn't being, like, extremely aggressive towards me or calling me, like a lot of people will call me names for that opinion, which is, like, whatever. Like, if you're so insecure about your position that you can't, that you have to instantly resort to calling me some fucking no-life degenerate because that's what I think, like, fine. I get it. You're incapable of actually having a... Because, like, I think there's plenty of valid arguments for people to just hack. Like, it sucks ass that, like, because right now, like, I think ideally you should be enabling the most players possible to play on cartridge, and hacking does that. It's an equalizer, right? But what I guess what I have the problem with is, like, oh, whoops, I didn't do that. I guess what I have the problem with hacking is that some people are going to be playing by the rules, others aren't. That inherently gives you an advantage. That sucks. So that's pretty much the easy stance. But, like, I do think that, like, people with full-time jobs, like I remember, this isn't entirely the same. I saw Andy posted something. I'll read it in a moment, but I'm doing the movement right now. I remember I went into an A-Drive stream, right? And he was like, people who use RNG to get shiny raids are fucking cheating. And if they use it to get competitive Pokemon, they're also cheating. And I was like, wow, that's easy to say coming from the fucking full-time Pokemon content creator, you pussy. Like, it just pisses me off. Like he's got this position of power and this position of time. It's not necessarily free time because his job is playing Pokemon. But you have this, you are playing Pokemon 3 or 4 times more than an average human being is going to be capable of in terms of getting in-game Pokemon. So, like, it's pretty pathetic of you to say that shit's cheating. I don't understand this cheating thing. I don't know this RNG well enough to have an informed opinion, but it seems analogous to calling a treasure hunter cheating for using a map. That's a pretty good analogy, I would say. Right, the game doesn't... Yeah, it's pretty much... I would say it's a very good analogy in the end of it, is that RNG manipulation is using a map or using a big calculator. Like, the programs we all use just simulate how the RNG works, and we have to play the game to execute on it. I pretty much feel the same. But yeah, people will just, like, insta-roast me. They're like, oh, this is this, and I'm like, shut up, you fucking idiot. Like... I try to be pretty clear about my points, but we'll see. You know, it doesn't matter. I feel like I was early on that one. I do think my general vibe is like a downside to my streams. But whatever. The patience I have for this is inspiring, by the way. Thank you. Boop. Oh, I see what you're saying. I did. You know what? You're right. It's because I hit the, because I hit the apostrophe. I think this is not even a valid Kyogre. I think you're right. I was thinking that was not a long enough time. I was thinking that wasn't a long enough time, and you're totally right. Hey, Asiago, leave her alone. Alright, well, we're waiting again. Well, I might just have good news for you about Celebi soon, Hydro Cannon. I like Supreme Arcanine, Absol Plays, and Shiny Collector very much. They're all very nice to me. You know, I'm not part of that community, so I do tend to feel a little bit othered in general, but I've had nothing but pleasant interactions with all three of them. I'll clarify one thing, though. This isn't you playing Pokemon anymore. This is straight up computer science. I don't think this is computer science. I think that RNG is nowhere near as difficult as computer science. I promise that. You know, I know you're not trying to invalidate me by saying this isn't playing Pokemon anymore. This is computer science. But, like, I think one of the most fun things about the Pokemon franchise is that what playing Pokemon looks like to you is different based on your hobby. Like, okay, so for example, when you compare me versus a shiny hunter, I think that playing Pokemon looks different for both of us, right? Neither one of us, how we're playing, is invalid, right? Like they can play how they want and I can play how I want. And that's totally valid. Like, both of our ways of experiencing and engaging with a franchise that we enjoy is valid. We're not hurting anyone. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, my experience is going to be different from a person who only plays the battles, right? If all you do is, like, use rental teams or hack teams in and then battle online, like, that's very different from my experience. Which is going to be different from people who just play casually. They just want to complete the decks, right? I barely ever complete Pokedexes. So, and then my experience is very different from speedrunners, and speedrunners replay the game dozens and dozens of times with one specific goal. And it's like, all of the way we play have overlaps. Like, I have overlaps with all of those communities via RNG, right? I like competitive battles. I get lots of shiny Pokemon. I do the RNG manips that speedrunners do. Stuff like that. And so it's like, there's going to be very, very heavy overlaps, but no one is quite playing it the same. And I think that's one of the most enjoyable aspects of Pokemon. Is this RNG versus anti-RNG argument kind of like card counting in casinos? Not really, because, like, the reason you can't card count in casinos is because there is a central authority, a casino, which says you cannot do this, right? That is the casino says you cannot do this. They are a private establishment, and they are allowed to ban things however they want, right? They're allowed to set their own rules. Because card counting is legal by the government, right? Like, in America anyway, card counting is not illegal. It is not against the law. But the casinos are also just allowed to ban it if they want to, which they fucking do. And so, like, there is no central authority on how you should be playing Pokemon, right? You can play it however you would like, right? What it really stems from is... You know, it's hard because I've never seen competitive players get on my shit for RNG manipping. I've only seen it through the lens of shiny hunters. And usually, to them, their arguments don't exist, basically. Like, typically when a shiny hunter talks about RNG manipping, they haven't looked at it through the lens of... They haven't looked at it through the lens of anything. Like, they basically haven't thought about the things that they've said for, I would say, more than 2 seconds, right? Like, a big one I get is, oh, with RNG manipulation, you just get the shiny too fast. Like, I'm about the journey. Again, as if nothing interesting ever happens to me while I'm doing an RNG manip, right? But that's because they've never tried it, right? As if like my setup here is any more or less interesting than some shiny hunting setup. So it's like, to me, it's just like it's people who, what they do is they look at the thing that I'm doing and they think, And then they think, on a surface level, they think, oh, I understand what this is. They don't actually understand what it is. And that's that. Like, they just make a surface level judgment based on something they don't really have any actual understanding of. No, I wouldn't say that they're the worst. Come on. You can't judge an entire group of people. I just talked about how I liked plenty shiny hunters. There's shiny hunters in this chat right now. It's about the journey, but everyone has their own journey. That's correct. Right? Like, when you're doing RNG manipulation, you have to learn things about how the game work, right? Like, you have to learn, how does this game work? How do I do X thing? Like, it's a very big challenge to overcome, right? But shiny hunters get butthurt about RNG because they probably feel like it invalidates them as a hunter, even though any method of shiny hunting is valid if it's not cheating. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think that's a pretty good explanation. A lot of people think that I do get a lot of people who think that what I do is ruining the rarity of their shinies, which is fucking stupid, idiot, brain rot shit. It's like, what I do has nothing to do with the value of your specific Pokemon, right? Shinies don't have an inherent value. They have a value based on what the people think. Say RNG manipulating a Pokemon to get a shiny can be considered shiny hunt method, where instead of relying on luck, you rely on knowledge and skill. Well, no, because there's plenty of method hunts that don't rely on skill. Right? Like, using the shiny charm is a method hunt, right? And if you're just doing random encounters with the shiny charm, that's a skill-less method hunt, right? A lot of people place more value on longer hunts and things like that, but I don't know. What was my first shiny? The first one I ever saw was a Banette in Sky Pillar. I saw a shiny. It's the only one I don't think I saw any shinies in Gold, Silver, Crystal. I don't remember any. I was pretty young when Gold, Silver, Crystal came out, but whatever. In Ruby and Sapphire, I was grinding levels in the Sky Pillar because I didn't know that trainers gave more EXP. And so I was trying to get a Pokemon to level 100, and I didn't even have any Pokeballs with me. And I saw a shiny Banette, and I just had to KO it because I had no Pokeballs. I had no way to catch it. After that, the next shiny I saw was not until X and Y. The first shiny I saw in that game, I got both of my first shinies in that game on the same day. I was waiting in line to try the demo of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U at a Best Buy. And I got a shiny Audino in the Friend Safari while looking for a Ditto. And then immediately after that, literally, like 30 minutes after that, I hatched a shiny Eevee. I hatched a shiny Eevee, which I evolved into a Leafeon. And the Eevee was pretty cool. The Audino was cool too. I didn't know the Friend Safari had higher odds of you seeing a shiny than the breeding did, so I didn't know that at the time. But also, odds doesn't really have any impact for me. Like, a lot of people will be like, was that thing that you found full odds or no? And it's like, I don't really care if it's full odds or not. Like, I'm not a person who makes a very big distinguishment about that. So... But yeah, Audino was technically the first one, and then the first full odds one I saw after that was the Eevee that I got. I mean, I think P-Calc is absolutely cheating, yeah. Well, I'm not even talking about the competitive aspect. I'm just talking in general. Like, I just don't get using P-Calc. To me, it's literally just the same as genning a Pokemon in. It's so fucking easy to use. Like, I understand P-Calc is valuable for research purposes. Of course, I've used it plenty of times for that. Excuse me. Alright. What do we got here? We have Bold, Kyogre. 2 HP. 100, 141, 137, 92 calc. Alright, I was on frame, but my seed was too early. I'm gonna do this. I'm just leaning early on the seed now for some reason, don't know why, but I'll change it. It's fun to use Lewis script to RNG. I cannot relate to that in any capacity. Yes, I agree with that, Bud Elf. I don't care if you like RNGing with P-Calc. Or whatever the fuck. Whenever I say P-Calc is cheating, like, for me, that means, like, to me, it feels like cheating. I don't understand it. But, like, that's fine if you like it. I don't really... It's just fine. But it removes the interesting part of RNG, which is the skill execution. going outro at X, how are you? What's up, Super Dan? How are you? Oh my gosh. Oh. All right. You think that it's incredible that Game Freak put an RNG method in this game where you stare at art? I think it's intentional. Well, this, the painting thing isn't a glitch. That's the weird part. Like, it's just programmed that way to call seed RNG. I can't really tell from the C code what the fuck it's doing and why, but it's doing it. I hope you sleep well, Reapers. Well, a lot of people think it's a glitch, so I think it's fair to refer it to that. I mean, what are they there? I just seems to be there's no reason. What do we think? Is Game Freak responsible for keeping the franchise alive by releasing more games, or is the community responsible for making all these challenge discoveries, or both? I mean, it's both. Franchises die no matter how popular they used to be if games don't get released for them. That's just a matter of fact, unfortunately. Because there just becomes less things to talk about. There will always be a dedicated following for the games, but like the fact that new games get released enables people to still keep the old games popular. Oh, I don't want to go down there yet. I need my egg to hatch. I do love Jak and Daxter. Well, it's hard to be involved in the Jak and Daxter community because there really isn't a ton going on. Like, there's no new games for it. So what's the point? All the discussion around this series is stagnant. Cal, what the fuck have you just typed there? My TID and... Oh, I get it. I'm reading it and I'm like, what is this guy talking about? But I understood it very quickly. It's not bad if it's just, like, funny. What I want is an updated Coliseum with all its e-reader, card content, bonus disc, and development content, over 25 shadow Pokemon, etc. They're never... Okay. Hey, what's up, Paolo? So, they're never going to re-release Coliseum. Junichi Masuda does not like that game. Also, it's fucking bad. Second of all, I don't think Coliseum has very much e-card content. It's 3 Pokemon, right? The developers do not feel good about them. Here we go. Nope. Tried beaver meat stew yet or frozen? I don't eat meat. I'm vegetarian. One, 88, 90, 152, 148. So 1 seed early, 3 frames late. And, oh. Just gonna do is do this. Put in my timer. This could be my last run, probably. Didn't like that reset for some reason. Yeah, it's too fast. I don't know. Want to shiny the Kyogre? Yes, sir. Would you ever consider going vegan? Nope. What is fucking freegan? What's the difference between vegan and vegetarian? Vegetarian doesn't eat meat, but vegan doesn't eat any product that comes from an animal. So I will still eat cheese or eggs, for example. Whereas a vegan would not do that. I wouldn't describe it as hardcore. It just depends on what your goals and what your thoughts are. You know there are two versions. I mean, veganism and vegetarianism are different. Many vegans also don't purchase things. No, most vegetarians don't do that. I don't buy leather products. Yeah, there's also, look, I forget what they're called. I think it's a religious thing or a cultural thing. They're called Jains. Jains don't eat anything that require you to kill plants. So they basically eat nuts and like fruit effectively. So like they're called Jains. There's another version. Maybe it's just called fruitarian or whatever the fuck. But that is a tangent of veganism or whatever. There's a bunch of alternative diets out there. Depends what your body needs. No. Shut the fuck up. I think there's almost no people on planet Earth who are required to eat meat. So many people, the number one anti-vegetarian and vegan excuse I heard is, I just need meat. You don't. You like meat. That's fine. You're allowed to like the taste of it. It can be very yummy. But the thing is, I will say there are some people who could never quit it. I know for a fact my brother basically could not go vegetarian, or it would be extremely miserable for him. He is allergic to all nuts and like most fruit. Effectively, if anything comes off of a tree, he is allergic to it. So he could probably go vegetarian or vegan, but it would have quite the impact on his quality of life. The only thing you hate about veganism is their proselytism. Well, at the same time, every fucking person who eats meat will make it like a big deal. This is wrong. Zach, you're an idiot. You have no idea what you're talking about. The nutritional value is not difficult to hit. Protein is by far the most overconsumed nutrient by human beings on planet Earth. First of all, plants give more proteins to you than animals in higher concentrations, right? Because the animals that we eat do not make their own protein. They get protein from eating fucking plants, okay? Second of all, so the only actual thing that you cannot get as a vegan or vegetarian is vitamin B12, I believe. That needs to be either taken as a supplement, or if you just make sure you're buying the fake meat stuff that always has B12 injected into it so that you can get it. Okay, the cost. Being vegetarian is literally no more expensive than being a meat eater. It's the fucking same. I have been vegetarian for so long. Tofu does not cost any more than fucking meat. The cost of fucking Beyond Burger is no different than the cost of ground beef. They're the fucking same. Ground beef is like maybe a little bit cheaper, but it's like $1 more for the Beyond ground beef. And if you're going with the store brands, which taste just as good, there's like no fucking difference. Don't tell me what to do, Hydro Cannon. This is what I like doing. So, like, this is what a lot of people will see what I'm doing, right? And they'll be like, oh, this is a vegetarian proselytizing. No, I'm not proselytizing to you. I just don't like when people say made up shit. I don't care if you don't eat meat. I don't care if you eat meat, or if you're vegetarian, or if you're vegan. Yeah, but you're stupid, Zach. You're just saying made up things. You're literally making things up based on how you feel about an issue, and you're not saying the truth to people, okay? I believe YB Keg is correct. I don't think it's injected into... Well, it might be injected into some animals. I don't know about that for certain. But I believe most animals that we eat are able to produce B12 on their own by eating the plants. And we are not able to do that. It's just like we are not able to make vitamin... was it vitamin D we get from the sun? We're like one other mammal that doesn't make their own vitamin D. Oh, actually, I don't know about monkeys. Excuse me. Maybe other primates don't make vitamin D, but like humans don't make vitamin D, and then the only other animal I know of that doesn't make vitamin D is what are they? Fucking, they're guinea pigs, I think. They don't make vitamin D. But all other animals basically make it. Again, primates as a whole might not. I don't know this off the top of my head. What's up, Durbin? Yeah, other animals don't need sunlight to make vitamin D is my point. Except for guinea pigs. Basically, why I got so mad at you, Zach, was because you just said a bunch of untrue things. So, like, why? Like, but, like, the thing is, you said all of those things to me as if you believed that they were fact, right? I think putting a simple "I think" in front of your statement goes, this is what I understand it to be. Or, like, I think it's like this. Like, but the way you're saying it is you're being like, this is a fact. It's this cost. It's this X. It's this X. But that's just not the truth of it. And it's just, like, upsetting. It's just, like, if you're not within that diet, like, you're contributing effectively just to the way people perceive it. Like, you just perceive it that way without actually having tried it or looked at it or Googled that shit. No, but like saying that the reason people don't want to go vegetarian is because the nutrients are hard to get or it's too expensive. They're not opinions. That is a lie that you've done. Right? That's a lie. That's not an opinion. What the fuck is a blue zone? I mean, it's listen. Well, a lot of vegans and vegetarians will preach at you because for them it is moral. So it's very similar to religion, where they think that the thing that you're doing is like objectively wrong. And I understand that because I went vegetarian for like moral aspects. I wouldn't really call what I did moral. It's more emotional from my perspective, but it's tangential to it is tangential to moral. So it was just more like the idea of killing and eating an animal makes me sad, so I don't do it. How much time do I have left? Fuck. Minute and a half. Not shiny. Oh, is OBS disconnecting? Woof. I've had some trouble with a different problem on my computer. And I keep thinking that's what the notifications are going to be. It's sassy. 2, 3. Something is wrong here. 152, 98, 86, 145, 135, 95. This is, oh, is this quirky? This is quirky, not sassy. 1 seed late, 1 advance early. All right. Well, I'm done for now. I'm going to continue working on my script and other project. Appreciate everybody who came here today and watched. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow, but I'll definitely have a stream Saturday, which will be, I think, very exciting. So get your fucking calendars ready for Saturday. All right, bye.